Welcome to part 6 of 101 Exciting Random Facts. Get ready to discover surprising curiosities. Let's get started right now. The famous basketball player and great three-point shooter Stephen Curry is a passionate golfer and regularly participates in charity golf tournaments. He has shared the course with great figures in the sport and has mentioned that if he were not a basketball player, he would love to be a professional golfer. The traditional tattoo art among the Maori of New Zealand is known as moko if it is on the face, and tomoko for the rest of the body. These tattoos are not just ornaments, but tell the life story and social status of the wearer. Steve Jobs bought Pixar from Lucasfilm for $10 million in 1986, before it became the animation giant we all know today. He eventually sold Pixar to Disney for $7.4 million in stock, making Jobs the largest individual shareholder in Disney. Full flight simulators used by airlines to train their pilots replicate every detail of aircraft, including movements, controls, and real-time data. They can cost between $10 and $20 million each. Held in Munich, the Oktoberfest is the largest beer festival in the world. It began in 1810 to celebrate the marriage of Prince Ludwig of Bavaria and Princess Therese von Sachsen-Hildburghausen. During this festival, 6.7 million liters of beer are consumed, and although it is called Oktoberfest, it is celebrated in September. The first university in the world was the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco, which was founded in 859 by Fatima al-Fihri. It is recognized by UNESCO and the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest continuously operating university in the world. The purpose of the Amazon arrow is not only to represent a smile, but also by joining the letters A and Z. The company refers to the infinite number of products they have and can sell. Luis Aragonés is the coach with the most games. No one has managed to surpass Luis Aragonés, the Spanish coach who managed 757 games in the first division, most of them at Atletico de Madrid, which were 407 games. One of the saddest disasters in racing was the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1955. The takeoff of Pierre Levesque's Mercedes 300 SLR on the main straight of La Sarthe caused the death of 84 people, including the French driver, and around 120 injured. His car became a fireball in the stands. The tragedy meant that Mercedes gave up racing for more than 3 decades. Mayweather founded his own strip club. The American boxer has so much money that he even owns a strip club in Las Vegas. In fact, that was where he went to celebrate after the fight against Conor McGregor. The oldest dog in the world lived to be 29 and a half years old. Although the average lifespan of a dog is usually between 10 and 15 years, an Australian cattle dog, Bluey, survived to the ripe old age of 29 and a half years and is the longest-lived dog in the world. The archer fish has an almost science fiction-like ability to shoot jets of water from its mouth to shoot down insects and other prey from above the water surface. It can shoot with great precision from several meters away. The Lacoste brand was founded in 1933 by tennis player René Lacoste, who was known by the nickname Crocodile. The logo design comes precisely from there, as he was called Crocodile because he once received a product made of crocodile skin. The longest time someone has held their breath underwater is more than 24.5 minutes. The world record for holding their breath underwater was achieved by Croatian Budimir Šobat on March 27, 2021, who held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. A leaky faucet wastes more than 75 liters of water per day. A 5-minute shower uses between 95 and 190 liters of water. Every flush of the toilet uses between 7.5 and 26.5 liters of water, and washing our hands uses 3 liters. Edinburgh has more listed buildings than any other city in the world. Listed buildings are those that cannot be destroyed or altered because of their cultural significance. While Edinburgh has plenty of them, including the ornate beauty of Holyrood Palace, the Walter Scott Monument, and, most famously, Edinburgh Castle, which towers over the city from the top of the Royal Mile. More than 1 billion bottles of Scotch whiskey are sold each year. Whiskey is a popular drink at weddings and birthdays around the world. Many of the best Scotch whiskeys are aged between 12 and 21 years. Scotch whiskey is the nation's most exported product, accounting for around 10% of Scottish sales abroad. The world's largest pyramid is not in Egypt, but in Mexico. The Great Pyramid of Cholula measures 450 meters by 450 meters and rises 55 meters above the plain, where construction began around 300 BC. 65% of the motorway sections in Germany have no speed limit. Normally, the recommended speed is 81 miles per hour unless otherwise indicated, so it is common to see cars speeding on the road. The Philippine flag is the only one in the world that indicates whether the country is at war. When a war breaks out, the colors of the upper and lower stripes are reversed, with the upper stripe becoming red and the lower stripe becoming blue. In Thailand, it is illegal to step on banknotes or coins because they bear the image of the king. It is a crime to disrespect the king or his family, which is punishable by 3 to 15 years in prison. Be careful if you drop a banknote on the ground. The world-famous Statue of Liberty has 7 rays on its crown, representing the 7 continents. In Asia, due to high fertility rates and the increasing number of women of reproductive age, the continent is expected to have almost 2 billion babies in the next 35 years. This will double the size of the population, and its population under 18 will increase by 2/3 to almost 1 billion children. The Tonle Sap in Cambodia is one of only 2 rivers in the world that changes direction throughout the year. In the wet season, it flows from the Mekong to the north. In the dry season, it flows from the Tonle Sap Lake to the Mekong River. This is due to the abundance of rain in the wet season. This is probably one of the least surprising curiosities about the United States. 2/3 of Americans are overweight and half of them are obese. The oldest bar in the entire American continent is in the United States and was built in 1668 in New York, in a small town called Tappan. It is called the Old 76 House. The cheetah is the fastest animal in the world on land. An adult cheetah can reach a speed of between 74 miles per hour. They can only purr and cannot roar like lions and tigers. Canada has more lakes than the total lakes in the rest of the world. There are about 3 million lakes in the country. Another interesting fact is that Canada is home to 20% of the world's freshwater reserves. Dutch men are the tallest in the world. Men have an average height of 5.97 feet. Women are second with a height of 5.54. Studies show that this is not only due to Dutch DNA, but also to external factors such as low inequality, good health care, and a diet with a high consumption of dairy products. The famous logo of the Columbia Pictures brand was illustrated under the image of an American housewife named Johnny Joseph in 1992. We have all been able to imagine that the image was chosen from a model, but we were wrong. The Maldives is the smallest country in the Asian continent, an archipelago of 1,200 islands, of which only 200 are inhabited. It has an area of 298 square kilometers and a population of 540,542 inhabitants. The Kit Kat logo has been practically the same since 1935, except for a brief period during World War II. At that time, the iconic red changed to blue to indicate that it was milk-free chocolate due to shortages. In many Asian countries, insects are considered a delicacy. In China, it is customary to eat scorpions, centipedes, silkworms, spiders, grasshoppers. To taste these foods, it is best to go to a local market. The Christ the Redeemer in Rio is one of the 7 new wonders of the world. It is located at a height of just over 2,296 feet above sea level. It is 124 feet high and weighs more than 1,000 tons. It was designed in France by Paul Landowski and was built to commemorate the 100 years of the independence of Brazil. It was transported from France in pieces and was taken to the top of Mount Corcovado by the Corcovado train. The tip of the thumb on the right hand is missing, having been destroyed by lightning in 2014. The Cocora Valley in Colombia has the tallest palm trees in the world. One of its most striking tourist attractions is in the Cocora Valley, where the tallest palm trees in the world grow, known as wax palms. They grow by the thousands and reach 197 feet high. Cocora is crossed by the Quindio River, located in the central mountain range of the Andes. The Jamaican flag is the only one in the world that does not have the colors white, blue, or red. It is green, yellow, and black. Cuba has more doctors than the UK. Surprisingly, the island has 9 doctors per 1,000 inhabitants, whereas in the UK there are 2.7 doctors per the same number of inhabitants. You will probably find a Cuban doctor in several countries around the world because there are 70,000 who have gone to work abroad, in 65 countries to be exact, due to the harsh circumstances in the country. A 16-year-old student designed the flag of the United States. Robert G. Heft, a 16-year-old student, created the design by cutting parts of an old flag belonging to his grandparents as an assignment for history class. The United States has the world's least populated capital city in proportion to the country. Only 0.21% of the country's population lives in the capital, Washington, the lowest percentage in the world behind Pakistan and Nigeria. Narwhals are known for their long tusks, which can measure up to 9.84 feet. These tusks have thousands of sensitive nerve endings and are believed to have multiple functions, including sensory and social display. In China, due to the country's high population, the government created a law that determines that each couple can only have 1 child. This law was in force in the country between 1980 and 2015. Currently, Chinese law allows each family to have up to 3 children. In the Maldives, dogs are prohibited. For Muslims, dogs are considered unclean animals due to an infection that a dog caused to Muhammad according to the Quran. In general, it is strange to see a devout Muslim with a dog, but in addition, in the Maldives, they are prohibited. What you will see on the local islands are lots of cute cats. The silhouette that appears on the NBA logo is Jerry West, legendary Lakers player who came close to never winning a championship. It wasn't until his 9th appearance in a championship series that he won the NBA title. Ecuador has the highest constitutional capital in the world. Quito is the capital of Ecuador, although not its most populous city. In this case, we are talking about Guayaquil. However, Quito is the political and cultural center of Ecuador. The city is located at 9,350 feet above sea level, making it the highest official capital in the world. La Paz is located at 11,811 feet, but it is not the constitutional capital, but the seat of government. In this case, the constitutional capital of Bolivia is Sucre. The aye-aye, a rare primate from Madagascar, has an extremely long middle finger that it uses to tap tree trunks and listen to the echo in search of larvae, its main source of food. Venezuela is home to the world's highest waterfall. With an impressive height of 3,212 feet, Venezuela's Angel Falls proudly claims the title of the highest waterfall in the world. It is a majestic waterfall that will truly leave you in awe. Lisbon is older than Rome. The capital of Portugal is one of the oldest cities on the planet, second only to Athens in longevity across the entire European continent. In fact, if we compare it with Rome, the time difference does not go unnoticed, as Lisbon is 400 years older than the Italian capital. Lisbon also has the oldest and smallest bookstore in the world. Livraria Bertrand opened its first branch in Lisbon in 1732, and even today continues to distribute new branches in different parts of Portugal. It is the oldest bookstore on the planet, and its fame can only be compared to the beautiful Livraria Lelo in Porto or Livraria Simão, also in Lisbon, which stands out for its tiny dimensions of only 4 square meters. Ferrets can sleep 18 hours a day. However, try to keep them in a dark place, since while they rest, they replenish their melatonin levels, and it is not advisable to give them any light. Brussels International Airport in Belgium is the place in the world where the most chocolate is sold. This is also due to the fact that Belgium produces 220,000 tons of chocolate per year, which would be equivalent to 48.5 pounds for each Belgian. Ostriches are the largest birds in the world. They live in generally very arid areas, and the most striking thing about these birds is that they can reach a height of up to 9.18 feet and weigh between 198 and 330 pounds. The official currency of Croatia is named after a rodent. Croatian money is called kuna, which is also the word for the marten, a furry animal similar to a ferret, and is surprisingly adorable and not dangerous. Rhinoceros horns are not made of bone, but of keratin, the same material that makes up our nails and hair. This means that, although they look hard, they are relatively light. The game won by the largest difference in points in NBA history was on December 17, 1991, when the Cavaliers faced the Miami Heat with a final score of 148-80 in favor of the Cavaliers. The lion is the animal that has the most sexual activity in the world. It never tires speaking metaphorically. He can copulate about 100 times a day, and sometimes he does so with the same female. In addition, lions and lionesses can mate every 10 to 20 minutes a day for 5 to 7 days. Still, it should be noted that lions can take 6 to 9 cycles to become pregnant. The large Costanera Center Tower in Santiago, with an astonishing height of 64 floors, is the tallest building in South America. Since 1992, the import and sale of chewing gum in Singapore has been prohibited, except for therapeutic uses. This was done to keep the city clean and avoid maintenance problems in the train system. The Irish passport is very valuable as it allows you to travel visa-free to over 180 countries. This is especially remarkable given the size of the country. It is considered one of the most powerful in the world when it comes to freedom of travel. Flynn Rider's Look Entangled was designed during a hot men's meeting where the women of the studio selected their favorite physical attributes from photos of Hollywood stars. In the city of Yamoussoukro, the capital of the Ivory Coast, lies one of the most intriguing and sacred spots in the country, the lake at the Presidential Palace, famous for its sacred crocodiles. These crocodiles, which are considered spiritual guardians, are revered by the local population and have deep cultural significance. These animals are said to be under the protection of mystical forces, and their presence in the palace symbolizes power and protection. Sweden has around 267,570 islands, more than any other country in the world. The Stockholm Archipelago, for example, features over 30,000 islands. The flag of the Dominican Republic is the only flag in the world where a Christian Bible is seen. It uniquely features an open Bible in the center, reflecting the deep Christian beliefs of its colonizers and invaders. The flag design featured contributions from prominent women such as Maria Trinidad Sanchez, Maria de Jesus Pina, Isabel Sosa, and Concepcion Bona. Some species of monkeys, such as macaques, are known to use tools. For example, they may use stones to crack nuts or sticks to extract insects from tree trunks. The world's first 7-star hotel is the Burj Al Arab, a stunning sailboat-shaped building considered one of the most luxurious hotels in the world. It is spectacular both inside and out. For example, The hotel's interiors are adorned with 24-karat gold leaf covering some 1,790 square meters. Toy Story 2 was made twice. When they were almost finished with the film, the computer crashed and lost 90% of the stored data. They had to redo the entire film, since the 10% of saved data was apparently useless without the previous base. There are more than 260 species of monkeys in the world, which are mainly divided into two large groups: New World monkeys and Old World monkeys. New World monkeys include species such as capuchins, marmosets, and sakis. One of the most distinctive characteristics of these monkeys is their prehensile tail, which allows them to grab and swing on tree branches like the spider monkey. On the other hand, Old World monkeys include species such as baboons, mandrills, and macaques. These monkeys do not have prehensile tails, and many of them spend more time on the ground than in trees. In Qatar, 85% of the population is not Qatari. This young Middle Eastern country is home to 2.8 million people, but only 250,000 are native Qataris. It has a mostly immigrant population made up of Arabs, Indians, Pakistanis, and Iranians, who came here attracted by the job creation in oil and gas. The most devastating earthquake in the world was the Shanxi earthquake, or the Hua County earthquake, which occurred in the Shanxi province located in China on the morning of January 23, 1556. It was one of the most devastating earthquakes in history and killed 830,000 people. Bolivia is a landlocked country in South America. This happened because of bad relations with Peru in a war with Chile where Bolivia lost territory. Bolivia today is a country that pays double tax to import any product by sea. New Zealand has the steepest residential area in the world. In New Zealand, Baldwin Street in Dunedin won the Guinness World Record with its 38-degree slope. The steep slope makes all the houses look like they are sunken into the ground. The tarantula can live up to 30 years. Leonardo DiCaprio didn't know how to swim when he made Titanic. When he read the script, he loved it, but was moved to reject it because there were so many Jack-in-the-Water scenes. Cameron explained to him that everything would be shot on a set and that the water would never actually reach his chest so he wouldn't have to swim. In Israel, one day a year, the streets and roads are literally free of car traffic. On Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement in Jewish tradition, is a day of reflection and fasting. During this day, daily activities stopped, and many people refrained from using cars. Many species of whales migrate thousands of miles between their feeding and breeding areas. For example, humpback whales migrate from the cold waters of the Arctic to the warm coastal waters of places like Mexico and Hawaii. Portugal has the longest bridge in Europe. Known as the Vasco da Gama Bridge, the longest bridge in Europe was built for the 1988 Expo. Its spectacular dimensions, more than 7.4 miles long, make it impossible to see the end of the bridge on foggy days as you drive across it. Without a doubt, one of the most curious and striking architectural constructions in the country. The tallest and shortest players played on the same team. At 5.74 feet tall, Muggsy Bogues was the shortest player to ever play in the NBA. He was chosen by the Washington Bullets, where he shared a team with Manute Bol, who is 7.58 feet tall. In the town of Jukkasjärvi, located in Sweden, there is the world's first ice hotel, known as Ice Hotel. This hotel is rebuilt every winter with snow and ice from the Torne River. Monaco has the highest concentration of millionaires in the world. Hawaii is the state with the most animal species, although unfortunately many of them are in danger of extinction. It is estimated that 70% of the native birds in the region have already disappeared, and the few that remain are at risk of disappearing. Another of Hawaii's animal-related curiosities is that snakes are completely banned throughout the state. The reason is that they destroy native fauna. Therefore, unfortunately, the only place where they are allowed is in zoos. Although they cannot fly, ostriches are very fast birds. They can run at speeds of up to 43.5 miles per hour and maintain a constant pace of 31 miles per hour for longer distances. Ostrich eggs are the largest of any bird, with a diameter of approximately 5.9 inches and a weight that can exceed 3.3 pounds. A single egg is equivalent to approximately 24 chicken eggs. In the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan, there is a natural gas crater known as the Gates of Hell. It was raised in 1971 to prevent the spread of toxic gases and has been burning ever since. The fire gives off a spectacular glow in the dark and is an unusual tourist destination. Movistar is a brand belonging to Telefonica, one of the largest telecommunications companies in the world, founded in Spain in 1924. The name Movistar was introduced in 1995 to represent its mobile services. The Melisani Cave in Greece is known for its beautiful blue water. The curious thing is that there is a part of the cave that has a hole in the roof where sunlight enters and creates a light show that highlights its vibrant color. The Salt Cathedral in Colombia is known for being carved out of a salt mine. The impressive thing is that it is located more than 656 feet underground and has sculptures, altars, and corridors made entirely of salt. The official language spoken in the country Madagascar is Malagasy, which is very different from continental African languages. It is a language of Austronesian origin, meaning it is more closely related to Indonesian and Pacific languages than African languages. Madagascar is home to several species of baobab trees, some of which are incredibly old, with parts of some trees believed to be over 1,000 years old. Their massive trunks are capable of storing water during droughts. Samsung has been known to run creative and occasionally provocative advertising campaigns, including direct comparisons to its technology competitors, which has sparked controversy and media attention. There is a tie for the podium of the players with the most appearances in the history of the Spanish Football League. Former Betis player Joaquin Sanchez equaled Zubizarreta's 622 appearances in his final La Liga game of 2022. The Basque goalkeeper had remained the player with the most appearances in the competition up to that point. The Phillip Island circuit in Australia is famous for its severe elevation changes and for being located next to the ocean, which offers spectacular views but can also be tricky due to strong winds that can affect motorcycles during the race. In Puerto del Sol in Spain, there is the Kilometer Zero, which is the reference point from which the distance of all radial roads in Spain is measured. This point is marked by a small tile with the coat of arms of Spain. A curiosity about Valentino Rossi is his nickname. Although he is known as Il Dottore, the doctor, Valentino does not have an academic degree. The nickname comes from his fascination with doctors and medical culture, as well as his desire to convey that he is a master at racing. Colombia is the rainiest country in the world. It collects 3.240 millimeters of rain per year. Its department of Chaco is the rainiest place in the world. In addition, there is constant rain throughout the year. Lisbon has the largest casino in Europe. The Casino de Estoril, located just half an hour by car from the city of Lisbon, is the largest casino in the entire European continent. Opened in 1916, the spectacular Temple of Gambling has more than 54,680 square meters of facilities dedicated to an endless number of different types of gambling. The meaning of the Ukrainian flag is very astonishing, since the blue of the Ukrainian flag represents the sky and the yellow represents the extensive wheat fields, since Ukraine is one of the largest exporters of the cereal in the world. Rome's famous fountain, Fontana di Trevi, is a money-making machine. In keeping with tradition, virtually everyone who approaches the fountain throws in 3 coins. On average, coins worth 3,000 euros are recovered by the end of the day, which amounts to 1.4 million euros a year. The government donates these funds to charities. Chile holds the Guinness World Record for the world's largest swimming pool. It is located at the San Alfonso del Mar Resort and stretches 20 Olympic-sized pools long, holding 250 million liters of water. Sweden is one of the world leaders in recycling and waste management. In fact, only 1% of Sweden's household waste ends up in a landfill. The rest is recycled or incinerated to generate energy. If we stick to the strict definition, the world's largest desert would be the Antarctic Desert. At almost 14 million square kilometers, no other desert comes close in this competition. The largest volcano in the world is Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Its total surface area is estimated to be around 46,602 square miles. Its altitude is 13,677 feet. A sad curiosity of the Maldives is that the country is sinking. As the flattest country in the world, its 1,192 islands are in danger of sinking. Increasingly eroded and with climate change causing ocean levels to rise, it is estimated that at the current rate, most of its islands will have sunk by the end of the century. The most educated country in the world is Canada. They are the kings of formal education, with at least 56% of the total population having obtained some qualification after high school. They are ahead of the Japanese, who are in second place in percentage points. And that was all for the great news, folks. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more amazing content.